is Q13 Fox News This Morning.
All right, still ahead, summer allergies flaring up for people all across Western Washington. How you can find some relief coming up next.
Good morning and welcome back to Q13 Fox News This Morning. Another gorgeous day on tap, and of course that means we are well into our summer, but the bad news is that means the allergies are in full swing right now. And joining us this morning to talk about how some of us can get some relief is Dr. Ari Gilmore with PacMed. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
This seems to be worse than past allergy seasons. Why is that? What's going on?
It has been a really rough year. I think part of it was the moderate winter, normal rains earlier before this big dry spell, and all the trees went off. So that would be the alder and pine and cedar, just tons of tree pollens to start us off this year.
So tree pollen is a problem. What are some of the other specific types of pollen that we may be seeing trouble with?
As we move into June and July, we go into the grass season and then the weed season. And the good news is with this prolonged, very dry spell, the grass season may go kind of quickly instead of lasting throughout the summer. So relief may be in sight.
So that could be some good news.
Could be some good news.
And this is a dumb question. How do you know for sure which of the allergens you're actually allergic to? I understand that they're segmented into time, but it's still kind of difficult to tell when they're overlapping like that.
Yeah, and in Washington, every year we have different times when it warms up and the rain changes. So it can be very difficult. Usually early allergies are trees, and midsummer are grass. Midsummer to late summer, the weeds and ragweed, especially on the east side of the Cascades. And other ways you can see an allergist and do skin testing to really figure it out.
Oh, interesting. So are there any at-home remedies you can recommend, things we can do to combat this?
There are a lot of things to do before you go see a doctor. You can use air filters, keep windows closed, take lots of showers, make sure you wash your pets. People don't realize when their dogs are out playing in the grass and they come in and they have an itchy eye, they may be allergic to the grass. And then there's over-the-counter medicines as well.
Any in particular that you recommend from those?
Yeah, and there's been some nice changes. There's the antihistamines, the Zyrtec and Claritin and Allegra. Those all work pretty well. Now one of the nasal steroids is over the counter, and people kind of say, oh, I don't want to put anything in my nose.
Right.
But it can be really helpful, and it's called fluticasone or Flonase. You can always ask your pharmacist where it's located. It's over the counter. And then people do really well with the nasal saline rinses. Actually getting the dust and pollen that are in the hairs in the nose out of the way.
Is it like the Neti Pot that a lot of people buy? Is that something that you can use that for?
Exactly. They have the Neti Pot, and then there's some other kind of plastic syringes, and basically you lean your head over the sink and you pour water through your nasal passage. It sounds horrible.
It's disconcerting at first.
But when you have bad allergies, if it helps, you're going to be a fan.
You mentioned closing windows, and actually that's been some advice I've heard before, not just for allergies, but for safety purposes, people breaking in, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is there anything we can do around that when it's so hot out? It's so hard to wrap our heads around doing that.
Yeah, so closing them at night, or making sure that you clean the window sills off. Oftentimes, by this time of year, if you open the windows to let that cool air in, you'll notice this yellow or black dust all around the bottom. Clean that off. Spray the screens off, because now you have an accumulation of pollen and you're just asking for it to come in. Right now the pollen counts aren't too bad, so I would advise go ahead and open those windows at night to get the cool air in, but do clean around them to reduce the pollen getting on your face.
That makes a lot of sense. I don't think I've cleaned my screens in a long time.
Yeah.
And you mentioned earlier very quickly that hopefully for some sufferers the season could be short for grass. Any other expectations for when this could be ending?
It's always hard to say, depending on what the weather does for us. But if it stays really hot, hopefully we'll be seeing relief by mid-August and not having one of those seasons that goes all the way into September.
Fingers crossed. Dr. Ari Gilmore, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Great advice. As always, we posted a link on our page at Q13Fox.com to PacMed's website so you can get a little bit more information. Over to you, MJ.